Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Chaos Child. And, okay, we're still only in chapter 9? I was wondering, I was like, maybe we slipped into, like, chapter 10 when, because, like, we slipped into chapter 9 before the title card came up. Like, I had saved, and it said chapter 9, and I was like, huh? And then we saw the title card for 9. So I was like, well, maybe we already went into chapter 10 because, we narrowed down the suspects to us, Kurdusu, or Serica. I'm still banking on Serica, right? But we're only in chapter 9. We have 2 more chapters left. As far as I'm aware. I thought there was 11 chapters. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, so it just, I don't know what to expect. Like, are we really going to be like, Serica's the murderer or whatever? Because I just, again, like I kind of said at the end of the last part, like, I just feel like if we find out who the killer is now, I don't know if that's going to take away from the rest of the game, like all the other routes. Like, yeah, you're going to find out other mysteries and stuff, but isn't that going to ruin it? I don't know. I just kind of feel like well, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm sure like as we play through, my opinion would change, but like right now, if you told me, "Oh, we're going to find out who the murderer is and then blah blah blah." Okay, then the rest of the game is sure, yeah, we're going to find out the mysteries, but it's going to ruin it a little bit. It might still be good, and there's going to be stuff that we don't know, and that's the rest of the point, but I feel like finding that twist out is just really now halfway through the game basically. I don't know, I feel like it would let me down a little. But then we'd have to see how the rest of the game goes to go, okay, no. But I just think my personal thought is I don't want to know right now who the killer is because, Anyway, so here we go. We'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to find out or not, but I feel like we're close and I'm kind of concerned about it. So I don't want to know. I don't want to know yet, but. Okay. Kurusu! I pushed my way through the media camps that still crawled around the clinic and ran inside, just as Yuki was coming out of the exam room. Oh, and I was thinking, and I don't know if I said it, but I was thinking this as I was like processing all the other videos up to this point. I was like, huh. We dropped our phone in the hospital. Serica could have picked it up. But then at the same time, Yuki did say, "Oh, I picked it up and then I put it back." So, so I was like, I was like, "Oh, well, Serica could have our phone." We did say she has other pictures. She has pictures of us, but Kurusu, we know, has the same picture we did. But really, and if it was vengeance for Senri or revenge for Senri, they both would kind of like, because Serica was there. And she's like, then you left her. And I don't know, but like, again, Serica, same hair and eye color. Maybe Senri's related to her. We don't know. It's her cousin or something. Or sister. You don't know. But anyway. Just like, okay, I pushed my way through the media camps that still crowded around the clinic and ran inside just as Yuki was coming out of the exam room. I think I just read that, but she was holding Yuto's laundry and she nearly spilled it on the floor when she saw me. Dakuru! Shh! Huh? Yuto took his medicine and finally fell asleep, so please. Oh. Why are you in such a hurry? Do you need to talk to Nono? It's important. Where is she now? She was just with me and Yuto. I think she's in her room right now. I see. Are we talking to her because we think it's her, or are we talking to her because it's Serica? Just saying. I reminded Yuki to make sure that once the fourth began, she was never to let herself be alone. Then I headed up the stairs to the dorm. But maybe we should be like, don't be alone with Kurusu or Serica. Kurusu, are you here? Kurusu? I knocked on the door, but there was no answer. That was strange. If she was in the room, she should be able to answer. I'm coming in, okay? I softly turned the doorknob. It wasn't locked. I opened the door just a little and looked inside. The lights were off and the room was pitch black. Did she go to sleep already? Maybe she wasn't feeling well. She tried her best to hide it, but ever since Yui had died, she'd been a mess. And this is why it's kind of like, if she's the one who did it, why would she be a mess? I still, if it was her, I'd be shocked. But I really still am banking on if it's any one of us three. I would love it to be me. It's me? But we already know what our power is, so I doubt we have two powers. I think it's Erica. She knew about our magazines, and she's always been kind of pushing, like, oh, no, oh, yeah, well, what Non says is right, but, like, we should totally go break into shit. Like, I'm just saying. You know? She wasn't eating much, and she clearly lost weight. It hurt to look at her. And she would trust Erica, and that's probably where they are. Hey, are you okay? Should I call Dad? I spoke softly as I came inside and approached the bed. Huh? No one was there. She wasn't lying on the bed or the sofa or sitting at the desk. Where the hell did she go? This is what... Okay, we're not going to find out who it is because it's going to be like... Now it's going to be 2 chapters, the race to find Serica and Kurusu, and we're never going to find out who it is. Okay, I'm okay with that. Like, what the fuck, game? You're going to make me go 2 chapters without an answer? And then you have to play through the rest. Yeah, that. That kind of a fucking long game. Yes, I could do that. You know? I turned on the lights, but the room was completely empty. I remembered that she'd said something about sleeping in my room before and checked there. But it was empty too. Hey, Kurusu? I didn't want to wake Yuto, but I still shouted as I ran downstairs. That was Armura. Oh, Miyashiro, hey there! Armura was in the dining room. She was paging through a girl's magazine, looking bored. Armura, sorry, but can you take care of Yuki? No, I'm not her guardian. And anyway, you're a target too, so you need to stay with us. Protect me and Yuki both, why don't you? Armura frowned and glared at me. I will once it's the 4th. Anyway, have you seen Kurusu? Kurusu? She just left. She left? Why? I looked at the clock and it was already past 7. I don't know. She was in a hurry. I tried to talk to her and she wasn't paying attention. I'm leaving too. I'll be right back, so just watch Yuki for me. She wasn't paying attention because she was either stressed out because Serica called her and lured her out, or she was being mind controlled. Wait! I told you I'm not her guardian! Miyashiro! She screamed at me, but I ignored her and ran down the stairs. I had a terrible premonition, and my heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. Well, if she ends up dead, then we know it's Serica, all I'm saying. As I was about to exit through the clinic door, Yuki poked her head out from the exam room again. Takuru, I'm sorry, but can you please be quiet? Yeah. Did something happen? No, it's just that Kurusu... Then something caught my eye in the exam room. It was Dad's computer, the one Kurusu had been using before. A pair of stereo headphones were plugged into the front audio terminal. I thought for a moment, then stopped and went into the exam room. Sorry. Yuki saw the look on my face and drew back a little, as if she were scared. Is Dad not here? He went off to look at some patients this afternoon. He says he can't do it here with all the media around. And then what's this? I pointed to the headphones and Yuki looked troubled. She'd probably been told not to tell me. It was definitely Kurusu who'd been using them. Of course, she wouldn't need these just to browse the internet, which meant I could guess what she was doing. Kurusu was a liar, too. Just like I was today. She's been investigating. I turned on the computer and looked at the browsing history. She either wasn't in the habit of deleting it or had been in such a hurry that she hadn't had time. Did she figure out it was Serica, too? The history list was still there, and when I clicked, I found a site with the first video from the Return of the New Generation Madness, the Don't Look at Me case. She was looking at this again? I put the headphones on and pressed play. Ugh! I screamed and ripped them off. The volume was so loud I thought it would blow out my eardrums. I could hear Yuto rolling around on the bed behind me, and Yuki put her hand over my mouth. No, don't be loud. Little child was like, please don't fucking wake him. I made an I'm sorry gesture and then watched as the video kept playing at loud volume. That was close. I almost went deaf. The volume got set to maximum somehow. I quickly lowered it, then put the headphones back on and looked at the screen. Was she watching this? Yes? Yuki's voice was soft. She really had been told to keep quiet about it. Literally. And this whole time? No, the video really scared me, so I tried not to watch it, but I think she kept stopping and replaying the same section over and over. And then she seemed to notice something. She suddenly told me that she needed to go to her room and asked me to watch Yuto. I don't know much more than that. I'm sorry. Her shoulders slumped as if she was ashamed at her uselessness. No, thanks. I nodded and told her not to worry about it. Oh, you don't. Brother Takuru? Then I heard a frail voice. You guys are both being quiet. You're both being quiet. Is it pretty sleepy times? Hi. Yeah? You only screamed a couple times today. Now you're being quiet. That's you, right, Brother Takuru? Did I wake you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Yuto. It was Yuto. He hadn't been asleep after all. No, it's fine. I looked over at the bed and saw that the drugs had almost put him to sleep again. He was trying his best to keep his tired eyes open. I know what she was doing. What? Big Sis Nona was looking at just one part over and over. I could tell from the sounds of the mouse and what was coming out of her earphones. Her headphones, sorry. Just one part over and over? She'd only been watching one part of the video? But why? No way! No way. I stared at the computer screen. Had Kurusu found something? Some clue to the killer? Did she find something in this video? Clue to the killer. Hi, we already have 3 suspects. One of them is us, so I'm just saying. Brother Takuru? Huh? Can you take revenge for my sister? Can you catch the person who made it so I'll never see my sister again? He's crying as all sprayed. Oh. Yeah, leave it to me. I'll catch them. I'll catch them no matter what. Sis? Yuto started to cry, so I left him in Yuki's care as I took the phone out of my pocket and dialed a number I knew very well. I grew more and more anxious with each passing ring. Kurusu, where did you go? Pick up the phone! You didn't go to find the killer yourself, did you? I told you not to do that! But this is what you'd do if you found the killer first, right? I know exactly what you'd think. I suddenly felt like I heard her voice. How long are you going to keep pretending to be my big sister? You're a crybaby and a coward, and you always rely on me. So pick up the phone, damn it! But the only thing I heard was the endless ringing sound. November 3rd, 2015, Tuesday. Udagawacho? 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 Udagawacho. Shibuya. Udagawacho is hard. Look, I had to read it. The path to Hekio Academy. Kurusu was walking alone along an empty street. Her breathing was a little heavy. She had been walking a long time and at a fast pace. She was wearing her school uniform. There was a school rule that said whenever you went on campus, you had to wear your uniform. It was funny to realize that she was obeying it even now. She just found a clue in the Don't Look at Me video and asked a certain person to meet her at Hekio Academy. Sarika! The person had said they couldn't be there immediately, but that they would call her when they got to the school. So there was no need to hurry. There was plenty of time until she got there. That's what Nono told herself. But her body kept driving her forward. Oh, my phone. She realized she hadn't looked at it in a long time. She must have been under more strain than she realized. She looked and saw several calls from Takuru and Arimura. She thought of stopping and heading back, but then sighed as she realized it was impossible. She couldn't go back to Aoba dorm now. If she saw Takuru's face, her determination would waver. Her determination would waver and she would change her mind. So now the only thing she could do was go forward. Now that she'd realized the hidden truth. I'm sorry. I guess I'm a liar after all. She apologized to her absent brother and tapped the phone in her pocket. Then she glared at the hill in front of her as she readied herself for what was to come. Here's the thing. It's not us. And now we're like, oh my god, Caruso's not here. And then you see her. I called a certain someone. The only other person we left it was Serica. So, like, we know, like, if they're trying to make it unobvious, like, unless we're totally fucking wrong and she figured out who it was, but we have no clue. You know what I mean? And we, like, the clues that we put on the board were totally wrong. Like, it seems obvious. You know what I mean? Unless that was meant to lead us astray, and then you're not going to find, like, now it's like, well, we already know. You already know. You haven't confirmed it, but you, like, you know what I mean? Like, so. She had to rid herself of any kindness or sentimentality. Even if she didn't intend any mercy now, she might find herself in a moment of weakness later. Yeah, I mean, it's not her, clearly, the way she's acting and the things that are coming out of, like, her thought process, though. At night, the academy was an ominous, dark silhouette amidst the dazzling lights of Shibuya. It was as if it knew what was coming. Usually there was a guard in the room attached to the front gate, but for some reason she couldn't see him. Because our mind controller's already here. The air felt tense. She shook off her uncertainty and went inside. I just don't want to know that it's her already, because then what the fuck? She went into the dark newspaper club room and turned on the fluorescent lights. You know what I mean? Oh. I just feel like if we... like, you do this and maybe there's something that happens and you're like, okay, well, somehow the last New Generation Madness thing didn't happen and, well, wait, what the fuck? Why didn't it happen or something? Or then it cuts off and then you go through and you do a different path, but then maybe something, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way normal mystery games work. You don't find out anything. Or something happens and then you go down a different route and it kind of changes a little bit, but then you find out a little bit more, or a little bit more. But it breaks out the story, and then the true route is like this is the end and this is who did it. But like if we find out now, it's kind of, I don't know. I just, it makes me wonder, like, I know I shouldn't be judging it right now because, like, the whole game's been great, and I'm sure the rest of it will be too. But if I find out that it's for sure Serica now and we have this finale thing, it's going to be like, what the fuck is the point of the rest of the game? Like, again, we learn a little bit more. I don't care. At this point, I already know the ending. It's like I read the last chapter of the book and then went, why do I care about the rest of it? Like, you know, I mean, I just... because she'll probably have a villain monologue that'll tell us why. So, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of the other routes? What do we need all those for? What do we need the other half of the game for? You know, I don't know. So, I feel like I'm setting myself up to be disappointed with the rest of the game. Which then, hopefully, I won't be. But we find out, we end, and then we go through the other thing, and it's like, well... Like, I'm going to start those other paths disappointed already. Like, kind of bored with it. Not because I'm enjoying this game, but I feel like if I find out and we get the ending, kind of, that's how I'm going to feel. I'm gonna be like, well, what the fuck is the point of that? Like, all right, whatever, we're just reading and it doesn't fucking matter. And I don't want to go into it like that, but the game's going to make me do that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to know right now. Anyway. Oh. Nono had decided to wait here for her call, but when she arrived, she found something unexpected. Takuru lied. It was the map that they'd put up to analyze the case, which had been taken down a while before. It was back on the wall. And there were several new pictures and pieces of information that she hadn't seen before. That was probably Takuru's doing. He'd been continuing to hunt the killer in secret, too. Takuru, you're a liar, too. She felt herself letting her guard down as she thought of Takuru and quickly shook her head. She brought a chair to the wall and sat down and stared at the map. Takuru had said something once. But lately, it feels like the case is chasing us instead. Looking back, several things had happened that could only be explained that way. Kurusu had decided that Takuru's life was in danger because he was a psychic, and that she was going to save him. But if the killer was just after Takuru's life, there were more direct ways to go about it. But instead, they got the return of the New Generation Madness killings, And what had happened to Yui? It would have been easy for them to take Takuru's life. But just like Takuru had said, the case seemed to be slowly closing in on them from all sides. Which meant they aren't after Takuru's life. They're after something else involving him. That was the only thing that made sense. But she couldn't figure out what it could be. And it's going to be that. What is it? What's the... Who cares when you tell me the killer? I don't care their motive anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I care about their motive because I want to know, but not another 30 hours worth of play. You know what I mean? I don't know. But, I mean, maybe zooming through maybe the other route only take like 10 hours, but it's still 10 hours of just figuring out their motive? I just... That seems like... then she saw a piece of paper on the board. Haida had Minamisawa's ID card. That fact had sent her mind reeling. One of the reasons she'd figured out it was Riko Haida. But I know who it is that's working behind the scenes, trying to achieve whatever their goal is. You can also see we've sort of figured that out unless you're waiting for us. It all started with the ID card that Senri Minamisawa had. That was, without a doubt, her real card. And no one but Kurusu could have known where it was. All of Senri's things lay beneath the memorial. Kurusu had put them there herself. Well, that explains why, when they were mind-controlling Rika, she went to the thing and you knew she was, like, scratching at Senri's name, and then she probably dug up the stuff then, so, yeah. All of Senri's family had died in the earthquake. She had no surviving relatives. So after the memorial had gone up, Kurusu had put them there. Even Kawahara, the other boy who'd been playing with them, didn't know that. It was a secret about Senri that only Kurusu knew. But Riko Haida had held that secret. No, she'd been given it. How was that possible? Mind reading. The power to see other people's thoughts and memories. The power to mind read and control minds seems like one, a cohesive kind of power. Kakita, the victim in the revolving dead case, had supposedly possessed it. The killer had used it to read Kurusu's mind. Oh! Ah, interesting. They've been using other people, so... Oh, well, that's true. Kakita could... Okay. So they controlled his mind and then were able to... Or did they go to him and say, hey... But Arimura knew him. Huh. But why would she want to kill... You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? You're also like, why would Sarika want to get... Yeah, I mean... For Senri... Like... She was at least with us, so that's feasible, but, like, Artemira's like, you know what, I just felt like it. Like, But she knew him. And she was there. Anyway. And that was how they were able to find Senri's ID card. I wasn't even thinking about Kikita. Because they found out using him, so they might have asked him, like, oh my god, could you find out where this is? Like, in other words, it's someone who I've made contact with. And now that she'd found what was hidden in the Don't Look at Me video, she had no choice but to fight them. I want to know what's hidden in that. She probably made contact with them more than once or twice. Because they were one of her closest friends. It's Sarika, come on. How long have I known you, I wonder? She suddenly remembered their smile. Her whisper echoed off the walls with no one to hear it. The countless after-school hours they'd spent together were some of the most important times in Kurusu's life. Meaningless conversations, shops they'd browsed together, but she couldn't think of any special memories. Well, not Kazuki, because she doesn't talk, so... And that was very painful for her, because that was only a sign of how close they were. But I have to ask. I have to find out. Even if the answer meant that things would never be the same. And there's one more thing. Her thoughts went deeper. There's one more thing she had to ask. A.H. Tokyo General Hospital. That was where Takuru had seen Senri being experimented on 8 years ago. She'd been tied to a chair and slowly going mad when she'd seen a boy, Takuru, that she didn't know. She had no time to figure out who he might be. She shouted, "Help me," without even understanding what was going on. And the boy heard it and ran. Was he surprised at the horrible scene he saw? Or afraid? No, probably both. And Kurusu couldn't blame him for either. At the time, he was just a 4th grader, a 10-year-old boy. There was no way he could have saved Senri. See? That was why Senri didn't hate him. Kurusu knew that. And that's what I was saying. He was a child. So, she tried to tell Takuru many times and failed about her one big mistake. That was why she knew. And that was why she'd always been suspicious. 8 years ago, when that boy had witnessed Senri being experimented on, he was alone. He was outside the room where the experiment was being done. Just a single timid boy peeking through a tiny crack in the door. He was alone. Are you telling me Sarika's a figment of my imagination and wasn't there? There was no one next to him. Oh! Sarika wasn't there? But did she plant that in our mind? To make us think she was? Ooh, is Sarika really Senri? But Takuru said that he saw it with another person. At first, she thought that Takuru was just confused. He'd been in a coma for over a year and he was simply mistaken. But then she said the same thing, that they were together. It had been a thorn in her heart for a long, long time. Were you really with Takuru then? She reached out toward the computer, but in the end she let her hand float in the air. She'd seen the video dozens of times. It wouldn't be any different here than it was in Aoba dorm. Nor would the secret it concealed. Nor would it change what she was about to do. There was no changing any of it, it seemed. Okay, I mean, like, it's definitely Sarika. You can't fucking tell me it's not now. But it's kind of funny because there were so many points going through. I was like, Sarika, she fucking did it. She did it. And then when we were going through the pictures, I was like, all right, you can't. Like, okay. Like, right? Like, it could still be us, but I doubt it. But, like, yeah, it could have been Kurusu, but she wouldn't have been so upset about Yui's death. Like, that destroyed her. You're like, it has to be Sarika. And she has been. And then she knew about, like... Look, I was suspicious of everybody at one point. Like, they all did it. Everybody did it because, But I was a little more suspicious about Sarika more often. So I'm going to give myself a B- for that one. Like, awesome. I didn't see the Ito thing coming, though. Like, what? Ito, no. Oh. Anyway. What would she... Poor Ito. What the fuck, Sarika? Anyway. There was no changing any of it, it seemed. It took a long time before they called her. It was almost midnight. But Kurusu didn't get frustrated. She simply waited, calmly. She'd assumed it would be around this time. They were probably waiting for November 4th, the day of the New Generation Madness. And then they were going to do to her what they did to the other victims. But she's not a psychic, so why would they kill her? She felt her phone vibrating and took it out of her pocket. Takuru was still calling despite the late hour. He'd sent text messages, too. Of course, Kurusu hadn't answered at all. Was it him again? She thought as she looked at the screen. Oh. The name she'd been waiting for appeared on the screen. She answered the call and put the phone up to her ear. Hello? She heard a voice she knew well on the other end. I like how they're doing this, like, if it's anyone other than Sarika popping in, you'd be like, oh, shit, okay. But, like, at this point, it's like they're trying to hide it as long, and it's like, but you already showed us the 3 photos, and, like, you know what I mean? It's a she. Sorry to keep you waiting, she said. No, it's okay. I haven't been waiting that long, and I was the one who called you here. Yeah. How about the roof, then? Yeah, I'll be waiting. She ended the call and went to put the phone back in her pocket. But suddenly she stopped and called up a picture on the screen. It was the photo of her family at Aoba dorm, the same one that was Takuru's treasure. She stared at it for a while, then placed the phone on the edge of the table, the place where she always sat when she was with the newspaper club. If something happened to her, she wanted someone else to save it. And then she looked around the room and bowed. Thank you for everything. She turned off the lights and the room became as dark as the abyss. It's funny because they said Like, they had the, sorry to keep you waiting, she said. And if they're trying to, like, keep you in the dark or make you wonder, they should have said, they said. Because that, you know, that wasn't Caruso saying, sorry to keep you waiting. They typed she and they should have put they. You know? Just to keep you guessing, but, like, come on. Don't act like you're never coming back. Oh, that was supposed to be me, my voice. Don't act like you're never coming back. He wasn't by her side to tell her that. Like this idiot. I'm gonna protect you. I have magic powers, you dumb ass. Damn it. I was pulling my hair out in frustration. I'd already watched this video 100 times. It was, of course, the video of Otani, the don't look at me victim. But the thing is we already, like, why? I get we're looking at it trying to figure out what it is that Caruso saw, but she saw it and figured out who the killer was, right? I'm looking in the background. Is there, like, a person between his shoulder and, like, the cheese that's actually his arm? Like, the way the shadow is, it's almost like it's a slightly darker, like, there's hair. I'm literally just, it's just the way the shadows are, but it's like, well, there's definitely a little dot where, like, the peephole light is coming through. But anyway, but we've already, it's not like we're gonna be like, oh my god, it's Serica? You pulled the 3 photos and it's like, it's either Caruso, Serica, or me. Well, you obviously don't suspect Caruso. And I'm gonna guess that we don't think we did it. So, like, we're gonna be shocked when we find out it's Serica? You had the evidence right there in front of you. You already knew. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand if he's like, I didn't want to believe it, but anyway. He'd wept tears of blood, lost his arm, turned his desk red, and died. Not only was I watching a shocking, gory video over and over again, I was searching desperately for what Caruso had found. I felt like I was going crazy. It's the sound that it's up loud. Caruso! Answer me, Caruso! Each time I finished watching the video, I called her phone, but she never answered. Ugh! I slammed my finger down on the end call button and stared up at the video and started up the video again. Maybe it was something in the user comments, not the video itself. I thought it might be, so I checked every one, but nothing had struck me as unusual. It was just a flood of meaningless comments going from right to left. And only a few of them were actually worried about Otani, which just pissed me off more. What the hell am I supposed to find in this video? I expanded it to fill the screen. I tried slowing it down, but there was nothing. It's the sound, because she had it up loud. Had Caruso found something here? Dikuru? There was a hesitant knock on the door and Yuki came in. She'd probably just been crying with Yuto. She was rubbing her swollen red eyes. Where's Yuto?
The doctor came back and is looking at him. He took his medicine, so he'll go to sleep soon, he says.
Her voice was still a little teary.
Did you figure something out?
No, I've got nothing. Yuki looked very concerned as she watched me grit my teeth.
It was close to no-no when she found something.
Yeah?
She wasn't as calm as she usually was, so I'm very worried.
Yuki seemed to be remembering what had happened. Seeing her only made me more worried. The thing is you didn't ask either one of the kids, like, what did you hear, and did you hear or see what she was, like, you know she was watching the video, but did you see something on the video, you know, when she found it? Do you remember what you heard? Because he's like, I heard her, and she kept watching the same part, so I thought Yuto was gonna tell us, like, oh, it sounded like this, or whatever, you know what I mean? So you could be like, oh, okay, that's the part, you know what I mean? But, like, did we not think to ask them? We've been doing this for hours. Literally hours, because it was like a little after 7, and now, I mean, this could be this is happening while Caruso's waiting for, I'm assuming, Serica. But, like, it's almost midnight at that point, so, like, even if we find it and we get there right as, say, Serica gets there and whatever, like, this is all happening at the same time. It's still a couple of hours worth of us looking before we run off, you know? So, anyway. Seeing her only made me more worried. What was she like?
Well, she suddenly stood up. She said it couldn't be, that it was impossible. At first, she was very shocked.
Shocked.
Yes, she'd gone pale.
Shocked and pale. Did that mean that she knew the killer? And it was someone she didn't want to be the killer? Obviously, well, no, okay, here's the thing. It's obvious, it can't not be Serica, because she's like, she said she was there, like, he was alone, but then she said that she was there with him, and it's like, well, now you're saying Serica's lying, and she put that into our head that she was there with us when she wasn't. You know what I mean? And we were like, oh, she's always been our friend. Has she? Now you're like, has she? You know? So was it me? Or Onoe? It's obviously Onoe. Come on. And then I shook my head. I'm sorry. If I'd been able to help her then, this never would have happened. Oh, no, it's Yuki. Never mind.
I'm sorry. If I'd been able to help her then, this never would have happened.
No, it's not your fault. I tried my best to keep her from sensing my panic as I slowly asked her another question. Sorry. For now, I wanted any hint, no matter how small. Yuki, so Kurusu watched the video and figured something out, right? And she watched that scene over and over.
Yes, I think so.
What part was it? Or, you don't know, right?
I'm sorry.
She looked down toward the ground. I quickly shook my hand at her. No, I'm not blaming you. What should I do? What do I ask to get the hint I need? It's no good. I don't know. Tell me, Kurusu. Where is the clue? Come on, tell me. The weirdest thing is, like, where's the clue to find out that it's Serica, even though I already know, because there was only 3 options for who would have a picture of me and Yui as children, and I'm doubting that it's... I obviously do not, in any way, shape, or form, believe it's Kurusu. So, and even this... Was it me or Onoe? And I would be like, I mean, it could be me, but I'm going to just say it's probably Onoe, because I'm going to think that I'm innocent. I mean, I don't know, but I think I'm innocent, so... You know what I mean? All I'm saying. You're such a loser, Miyashiro. And then, I suddenly heard a voice behind Yuki. I looked up and saw Arimura playing with her twin tails. What's with that look? You look like you're about to cry. Shut up! It's got nothing to do with you. I yelled at her even though I knew I shouldn't. And Arimura laughed. It sure does. It's almost the 4th. You're the one who told me to stay with Yuki. Oh. I'm sorry. And you know, I really like Kurusu, so telling me it's got nothing to do with me pisses me off. Huh? Arimura's face suddenly became serious, and then she yelled. Get a hold of yourself! If you're panicking that much, you're not going to notice anything, you moron! That's what Kurusu would say, I think. Arimura. Hey, Yuki, you said that Kurusu got very surprised, and then she watched the video again and again, right?
Huh? Yes, that's right.
What was she acting like then, after she acted surprised? Arimura put her hand on Yuki's shoulder and started to ask more questions.
She looked very serious. It was kind of scary.
Yeah, and?
She seemed to be listening carefully on her headphones, as if she was trying to make something out.
Yeah? What? And then I realized I'd missed something very simple. Duh. Sound. That's why it was cranked up loud. The hell have I been doing? Arimura was right. I've been panicking too much because of Kurusu. Kurusu was watching this video yesterday. That's why she and I got in that fight. But she wasn't wearing headphones then. And the computer had been set at max volume. What if that was deliberate? What is it, Miyashiro? The sound. Huh? It's not the video. There's something in the sound. That's why Kurusu had worn headphones and set the volume to maximum. Arimura, just listen to this. I handed her the stereo headset that was connected to the computer. When I saw that she put them on, I set the volume to maximum and pressed play. So sorry, I bought this cheese on sale and it's just so incredibly hard. Yeah! The sound was so loud that she ripped the headphones off her ears. And then she threw them at me. Are you trying to destroy my ears? Right? That's what you would normally say. Of course it is! That's right. Normally you couldn't focus on anything with the sound this loud. In other words, what Carduso had been listening to was the part where there's barely any sound. I moved the video back to the start and played it at maximum volume. Okay, I'm going to take 3 minutes for questions. Get to it. The scene with him in front of the computer was too loud to listen to. Oh, come on, I'm streaming right now. The sound got a little better when he left the computer, but it still hurt at max volume. It was hard to imagine her listening to this part over and over again. Otani disappeared out of frame, and I stopped being able to hear what he was saying. This was the part where people thought the killer had come in. But everyone, from the police to internet users all over the country, had thought it would lead to the killer. It had been listened to millions of times in all. If it was in this part, someone would have found it already. It gets scary after this, right? I'll go over there. Let's go, Yuki. Huh? Huh? But... Fredimura pulled Yuki away by the hand. Yuki turned and looked at me, concerned. Thanks, Yuki. I'm fine now. Thanks, Arnemura. Make sure you find Kurdusu, okay? Yeah, don't get separated once the fourth starts, okay? Even in the bathroom. What? Yell loud if something happens. I'll be right there.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, but I'm not expecting much. Once I made sure that Arnemura and Yuki had gone up to the dining room, I started to check all the parts of the video with white noise. I guess our bedrooms are downstairs? Not here. Not here either. That knocking. No, there was nothing here. Or in this scene. That was a door opening. Nothing here either. There were small sounds mixed in with the irritating white noise. I don't know if you can hear them because I had to turn everything down because of the music, but it was harder than it looked to focus all your nerves on them. It's funny because what you hear in the background sounds like there's heavy metal music or something. It's weird. It's like there's music underlying it. It's supposed to just be white noise, but it just sounds like... My hearing started to fade, and I started to lose my sense of balance. My head felt heavy, and I suddenly had a terrible headache. I grit my teeth and fought through the pain. Caruso had gone through this, and in the end, she found something. I had to do the same thing. And then, I heard a tiny noise. I paused the video without even realizing I'd done so. What was that? I put my finger on the earphone in my right ear and pushed it in deeper so I could hear better. And then I used my left hand to move the video back and press play again. What is this sound? It's like knocking or the chopping. It was a scene where Otani was cutting what he described as cheese beneath the dim fluorescent lights. In between the sounds of the knife, I could hear something else. Oh, I was like, one more time. I played the video again. I'm like leaning so close to my TV, my nose is going to touch it in a minute, like trying to hear. Because I got my headphones on and the sound's down in my headphones. Because, like, for some reason it sounds staticky. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, for some reason my capture card audio is like fucked up. It captures fine and it sounds fine when you play it back, but in my headphones it doesn't work. I don't know, it's weird, but so I have to listen to my TV, but I'm like literally like I can reach out and touch my TV. I'm so close to it trying to hear it because I got headphones on it and I don't want to turn the volume up. I know I've heard this sound before and the birds are playing, so I can't tell. I knew that sound. I'd heard it very recently, very close to me. The Gerdo Froggy strap. That's what I was just wondering. I played it again and again. I concentrated everything I had on picking out the tiny sound from amidst the noise. What? I finally realized what it was, and suddenly I felt a cold pillar of ice pressed against my spine. That's what I'm wondering, because I heard something and I was like, I wonder if that's it. The weird noise it doesn't quite make with the right noise. No, you could call it sheer terror if you wanted to. My hands shook and sweat poured out of every pore in my body. It felt like the room was spinning. And it's so funny because he's like, oh my God, it's Sarah. Again, you had the 3 photos. You had to know at that point. I guess, like, he wanted to be in denial. Like, it's me, Carducer, or Serica. What? That's like bullshit. And then this is like that final nail in the coffin where you're like, yep, nope, no doubt about it now, where the reality sinks in. You know what I mean? Like, before, I guess we were just in denial. Like, sure. This can't be real, can it? God damn it! I slammed my shaking hands down on the desk, and the pain finally got them to do what I wanted. It took me several tries, but I finally managed to open my Pokécom and powered on. I yanked out the headphones from the PC and plugged an audio cable into my Pokécom. No. 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 I kept screwing it up, but managed to load that scene into an audio editing software. I set the volume to maximum and set it on repeat. And then I hit the play button, my hands still shaking. Yep. It's the Gyarados Froggy strap. This can't be real. See? Okay, but here's the thing about this, and this is why I don't like the fact that we know it's her, because, like, then what the fuck are we doing for the rest of the game? But also, it's kind of genius, because when we were getting in places and all the doors were unlocking, I'm like, Serica's fucking like, she's unlocking the doors. She's mad. I thought she was the one unlocking the doors. And then it was like, nah, she's not a psychic. Oh, I really thought she was. Well, I was fucking right. She was. She wasn't the one unlocking the doors, but she's been a psychic the whole time. And, like, because I also was like, she also got sick around the stickers. And then it was like, she's not a psychic, blah, blah. And I was like, oh. Well then, okay, but she was always getting, I thought she got sick around the stickers like we did. She did! Fuck you, game! I knew it! Knew she had power! Ugh! Damn you! Ugh! And like a couple parts before we got to the last one with figuring out the pictures, I'm like, it's like Serica so fun, like, it's her. She fucking did it. I wasn't like 100% serious, but it was like, she's a little shady, you know, and like just, let's go do it, okay, and just so like gung-ho about dragging us on this shit, and it's like, oh no, girl, you're a little suspicious. Yep. Yep. I feel like when they did this game, you weren't supposed to suspect her at all. You were supposed to be like, what? At this part, but it's like, nah, man, she got sick around the stickers. I thought she was the one unlocking all the doors. She was always with us when that shit happened. I thought it was her, but it was really us. Okay. And then it was like, then she's like, she's been suspicious for a while. I thought she was on her side when she was like, but I still thought she had psychic powers. Okay, like, I was sus of her for a while for that, at least. Anyway, this can't be real. I slammed the Pokécom down on the floor and called her on my phone. The phone rang and rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Did Kurdusu notice the sound? It kept ringing. 6 times. 7. 8. It was as if she was ignoring me. No, she's not picking up. I ended the call, and this time I pulled up Kurdusu's number. I tapped the call button, but I got the same result. Why? Why? They kept ignoring me. No matter how long I waited, I couldn't hear Kurdusu's voice. God damn it all! I hung up the phone and ran out of the room without even knowing where I was going. I'm going to the school for no reason. November 4th, 2015. Wednesday. Woo, bitch! I mean, shit's intense now. We know what... But, like, again, I'm like, okay, but then we're gonna get to some kind of an ending, and then we're gonna have to choose a character, and, like... Why? Why are we choosing the characters? Why are we doing all this? This is the game. What the fuck is the point? What's the point? I'm sure there'll be one, but I'm just like, I'm a little like, wary of, like, you know what? I don't know how to explain it. I think you know what I'm saying, that I'm just like, "Oh, okay," but, like, gonna be slightly let down by the rest of the game because what point is there gonna be? You know? We already know who the killer is, and, like, unless the rest of it goes really fast and it only takes, like, an hour to get through everybody else's route, good ending, bad ending, you know what I mean? Like, all the other endings, I just feel like, because this is, like, we've done this for, like, 30 hours at this point, so, and I thought maybe they said, like, maybe 40 hours was the game? 40 or something? We always go longer because we ramble a lot, so, but I'm still like, we've got another at least 10 to 15 hours left of this game the way we play it. Like, what? How? Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, okay. Well, the roof was normally a place for students to laugh and talk. But under the cool moonlight, the empty benches seemed silent and sad. I mean, unless Sarika kills Kurusu here and then all the other routes is like we try to stop it. But it's kind of like, okay, there's alternate reality versions. Sure. You know, because of our delusions, that's going to change things too. But we already know who the killer is. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, Kurusu looked at the benches and shivered once more. It wasn't just because of the cold. It was because she had realized that this place was truly empty. Of course it was. No one was allowed here at this hour. It was an isolated place where the warm light didn't reach. Only the cold light did. No matter what happened here, the rest of the world wouldn't care. It wouldn't exist outside of this place. It's too perfect, maybe. It was so perfect for her that this was almost sad, Kurusu thought. But here's the thing, why would we not be like, you are really going to town flipping that mirror around, huh, buddy? Just like, he's just like violently spinning his little mirror toy. But like, Sarika can control minds. Why would you think that you could beat her? You know what I mean? Anyway. While Cardusu was waiting for her to arrive, she hadn't been thinking about the case. Strangely, she'd been thinking about her family and friends. What had she always said to her family before she left to come here in the morning? Did they smile? And also, Sarika didn't have like a path. I mean, not everyone does. Artimura, Yuki, Cardusu, and Artimura. But like, Sarika's been a main character, and she also kind of doesn't have like a quote unquote character path, so that also looked suspicious to me. Well, that seems sus. She's either gonna die. I kind of expected her to die. I was like, she has psychic powers, she's gonna die. And then it was like, she doesn't have powers. And I was like, oh. Yes, she does. But she's also the killer. So she might still die, but that also explains why she doesn't have like a character out, you know, kind of because she the killer. But anyway. The younger students who'd helped with the student council's work, the talks she'd had with her classmates about the latest fads, the brief fights in the lunchroom, forgotten as soon as the bell rang to tell them to go back to class. Each time she started to lapse too deep into her memories, a cold wind would blow and pull her back to reality. And then she realized something with a self-embracing laugh. She knew it. The reason Nono wasn't thinking about the case was because that part of her was sure she already knew everything. If she asked, she would get the fatal answer that would lay bare the truth. And once she'd heard the answer, a strong wind blew as if to carry away her thoughts, and she closed her eyes for a moment. And when she opened them, she heard the sound of a rusty door opening. None? Her lips twisted a little when she heard her say it. Non, huh? It made her mad to hear herself called that. She felt heat rising from the bottom of her stomach. It was time to begin.
I'm really sorry to bring you out here. Hey, Unoe?
Non? Did she realize that Kurusu was using a different name? Or did she sense something instinctively? Sarika repeated herself, this time with a suspicious look on her face. Wait, are we trying to say that? No, wait. Are we going to be like that she called her here? Yeah, I came here, but wait, you mind controlled Sarika to go do that? She tried to get closer, but a glance from Kurusu stopped her. Serica froze. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But like, did she realize that Kurusu was using a different? Oh, okay. That's what she meant. Never mind. It took me too long to figure that out. Yeah, I'm sorry to bring. Hey, Onoe? None? She realized she was using a different name because she always called her Serica, not Onoe. Now she's okay. I get it. Never mind. Never mind. It took me a little too long to figure that one out. You know what I mean? That she used to be like, "Hey, Serica," blah blah blah. Now she's like, Onoe. Like, we ain't friends anymore. We're last named now, bitch. Okay, that made more sense. I was like, what is she talking about? She's using a different name. Like, I thought Kurusu was like, does she realize I'm using a different name? Like, I'm lying about my identity? Like, Kurusu had a different name? Like, Kurusu wasn't her real name? It went over my head and then it smacked me upside of it when it came back. It's fine. I got it. Anyway. Because I was like, what? No, it's Sarah. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. No, all right. Answer me. Was it you? Was what me? Answer me. Caduceus repeated her words to her former best friend, the one person outside her family that she called by first name. But she ain't anymore. But Serica's expression didn't change. It was the same face Caduceus knew so well. We ain't gonna get to this. The same look as when Serica brought a crepe and was wondering what was inside. Thinking back, the two of them went shopping together all the time. Onoe had insisted that she looked fine without makeup, and Caruso had insisted on buying her some anyway. It had been a lot of fun. And they were always together in the club. She'd argued against Takuru's reckless plans, and she stopped Kazuki from pounding the walls, and the two of them had always been amazed at the stupid things Ito said. And she made Ito kill Yui. But they'd always been laughing together. But you were there at the scene of the first crime, weren't you? I don't know what you're talking about, Non. Where is this coming from? There was a sound on the video. A sound I knew well. In the Don't Look at Me video, she'd heard that strange sound that Serica's Gero Fragi made. Serica had a bad habit of unconsciously fiddling with it whenever she was focusing on something. Like controlling people. Kurusu took a step forward to stop herself from falling over, and glared at Serica with a challenge in her eyes. That's right. Kurusu was glaring at Serica. Wait, Non. I said, answer me! Serica staggered back at the sound of her loud footsteps. Finally, her expression changed. It's going to be an evil smile. There was fear in it. Oh. Yui isn't a part of my family anymore. She's dead. She's not coming back. Why? Why did you do that? Serica stayed quiet, the terrified expression still on her face. Was she really terrified by Kurusu? Or was she trying to fool her? It'd be kind of interesting if, like, her final thing was like, I'm gonna go and, like, Kurusu's gonna, and then she's gonna violently kill me and I'm gonna be the last victim. And Kurusu's gonna be taken away and they're gonna think she did it and that's how I'm taking Takuru down, is that your whole family's been destroyed now. Like damn, that's some psycho evil genius plan that you're gonna sacrifice yourself? Like, you know what I mean? Then all your friends are dead, basically. Like, I mean, clearly she's mentally unbalanced, but I'm just saying. Or was she trying to fool her? Or Kurusu took another step forward. On that day, 8 years ago, did you really go down into that hospital basement? Were you really there with Takuru? You can't answer me, can you? Because you weren't there. I know that better than anyone. So who are you? Kurusu's question was something she'd wondered about ever since Onoe had said she'd gone into that basement with him. Well, the weird thing is like, if she didn't think, like, I'm assuming she was there, and that's why she knows that she wasn't there, or because remember, what's her face, Senri had like a freebie pass. She was allowed to go to school, blah, 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 and then she did those experiments. So it'd be like, okay, she had these experiments and she tells Kurusu about, there was a boy who came in and blah, 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 and she's like, oh. And that's why Kurdusu knows, unless Kurdusu was actually there at the time. But I'm going to guess it's more like Senri told her, oh, I asked this poor kid broke into the hospital and I begged him for help and I feel kind of bad because, like, whatever. And, like, so she knows, like, based on Senri's testimony that no one else was there. Because otherwise I feel like if we were like, oh, yeah, no, Sarika was with us. And she's like, what? No, she wasn't. And then Sarika's like, yeah, we went there together, totally. And we have the shared memory that you'd think Kurdusu would have been like way more, I mean, she's suspicious, but then like now when all the psychic thing comes out, she wasn't like, I mean, I guess that was kind of in the back of her mind, like, huh, why would Sarika be saying that unless, you know, because Takudu kept saying it so often that Sarika's like, yeah, I was with you, and just, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess she wasn't putting the pieces together, because it would sound when like, oh, mind control, and she'd be like, it was Sarika, and they're like, huh? Well, here's why. Because she said she was in that basement with you, and you think she was in that basement with you, and I know she wasn't in that basement with you, so bitch was using your mind. Like, I guess that would have been too much of a leap to try to remember, you know what I mean? At the time, it probably wouldn't have popped into your head. It would have been now that you're like, all the pieces fall together, and you're like, wait a minute, you know? Kind of like when the mind control thing, and it was like Sarah, and it's like, well, she did say that we have dirty magazines, and the only way she would know that is if she read our mind, because she's never seen them because we hide them. So I'm just saying, you know, that was like an afterthought. It didn't happen right when she said it. Because like when she said it, you're like, how did she know? Did she find them? You were like, she's psychic and she knows. You know what I mean? So anyway. It was the one last thing she'd been unsure of, which she'd kept quiet about to protect her own secret. Until a little while ago, it had seemed like it didn't matter. She was willing to go her whole life without finding out, because Sarika Onoe was someone she loved. Is she Sarika or is she Senri? But now...
Tell me, who are you?
But Sarika said nothing. Not a word, unless Sarika is Senri's sister. They both have red hair and red eyes. So I'm saying so. Did she really not know anything? The thought crossed her mind for a moment, but she quickly kicked it away. We're over time, but that was just what she wanted to believe. She'd had suspicions about Sarika for a long time, but she'd ignore them because she was too afraid to ask. And the result of that had been Yui's death. Kurdusu raised her hands and brought them together as if offering up a prayer. And the next moment... I'm going to cockblock us all because we're over time, and this is the perfect place to fucking stop. Are you pissed? Are you like, fuck you? Yeah, well, sometimes being able to do this brings me little bits of joy, but I just have a feeling that it's either going to be the next moment it's going to go to a black screen and we're not going to know, or shit's going to go down and it's going to be like another 20 minutes. And we ain't got 20 minutes, you know what I mean? So I'm going to cock block you and not me, because I'm going to record the next part now because I want to know and I don't even give a shit that it's like 9:30 at night. I don't fucking care. We doing this. So I'm going to find out, but you are not. Anyway, I'm going to twirl my evil mustache as I bid you adieu. So remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.